interesting enough, like in the old days, I think there was a whole lot more oxygen then or now, I can't remember, but oxygen isn't now the same as it used to be.
Right.
You know, some things have adapted. So it depends, I suppose, on how fast things happen.
Right.
Whether ecosystems can adapt to the changes.
Right. All right. Well, let me address your very first point, because I think that's the one that a lot of this stuff is comes from, which is the natural cycles thing, right? The Earth has been in many different forms over its history, right? It's like you said, it's been a jungle in the Arctic. It's been cold in the middle. We've had ice ages that have covered entire parts of the Northeast. It's been all kinds of ways in our history, and no doubt, like carbon is a natural element in just the Earth, and it goes up and it goes down, and there are charts where people have actually charted it, you know, over the course of history to find out when it was high and when it was low, and when the Earth was hot and when it was cold. And you're right, the Earth has been a lot of different ways. And we may be on a path to something like an ice age now, or like a desert planet, or something like that. But those changes take place over very long periods of time, very long periods of time. And the changes that we're seeing have really only started in the last 100 years. And they've started very abruptly. If you watch all of the charts and graphs of carbon and temperature over, you know, the millions and billions of years that the planet's been around, it moves very slowly, and we've got a spike, a very big spike, both in carbon percentage and temperature just in the last 100 years, basically corresponding to the start of the Industrial Revolution. And that's all fine and good. You can care about that or not care about that. The question is less about, I mean, this is ultimately a question of whether we're causing it or not, right? Like whether our carbon contribution is the problem, or whether it's some other thing causing the Earth to get warmer. But from this argument, I take it that you accept that the Earth is getting warmer, right? Like, all you really need to do to prove that is to have somebody look at the thermometer and write it down year in and year out. And so that chart that I held up for you, wherever it was, that's basically the last 100 years and the temperature increase in the last 100 years.
The history that you talked about, 100 years, give or take.
Yeah.
Okay? 200 years.
Yeah.
You know, the planet is how old?
Many billions of years.
Billions.
Yes.
That's billions, right?
Billions with a B.
And what's 200 as a percentage of?
Very small.
Take 1 billion for rough numbers.
Sure. Very small.
And all I'm doing is trying to help you.
Okay.
To field questions. It's one thing to talk, and then when people ask you questions.
I want to respond. I want to have the answers. So here's the end part of this thing. So whether we are causing it or not, whether it's carbon or whether it's a natural cycle, the Earth is getting hotter, right? They got a guy looking at the thermometer. The Earth's getting hotter. So what I would put to you is that, to me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's carbon and it's us burning fossil fuels, or it doesn't matter if it's a natural cycle. It doesn't matter if it's alien death rays. It could be anything. But the bottom line is the Earth is getting hotter, and a hotter Earth is a more dangerous Earth with funkier weather that we're not used to. So really the only question that remains, if you admit that the planet's getting hotter and a hotter planet is a more dangerous planet, the only question left is, do we want to do something about it? If it's a natural ice age or a natural desert cycle, that's one thing, but we can admit that we don't want the planet to be an ice age, and we don't want the planet to be a big desert. So all I'm trying to say is, maybe it is a natural cycle, who cares? Maybe climate change is a hoax, but if you can admit that the world is headed for a dangerous spot, it's getting hotter, and it's going to keep getting hotter, and it's going to keep getting more dangerous, we should do something about it, because if we don't, it doesn't matter whose fault it is, things are all going to go haywire.
I agree with you.
Okay.